it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm in this awesome location. It's a place that I frequently go to. It's like a relic of Egypt, and it's a restaurant that never opened up. So I love coming here for some peace of mind. So pretty. Okay, today I wanted to talk about a crazy story, one of the craziest moments that ever happened to me in my life. It's the time that I got a gun put to my head, and I'm kind of just telling it to inform you guys. I'm not calling myself an influence for this one because it is nothing to look up to, and it's really scary. I could have got seriously hurt or even died from this situation. I appreciate you guys not judging me on it and just be open to listen. I haven't told it in a super long time, so I'm just gonna be going back in my headspace. But let's see. This happened to me about 7 or 8 years ago. It was right when I started hauling weed. I was in a very high-risk job, so a lot of the times I was putting myself in these situations. There's so much light in traveling, and the job that I was doing, it always attracted things like this to happen. So just take this with a grain of salt, because yes, there are bad things that happen in the world, but this story happened in my hometown, and that's a huge reason why I travel outside of where I'm from, and you should too, because dark things can happen exactly where you were born, and light things can happen there too, but that goes for everywhere in the world, and might as well get out, because if you're just gonna stay sheltered, you're never gonna see all the magic and the beauty that's out there. About 7 or 8 years ago, I was in Humboldt. I bought 5 pounds, and actually it was a work trade, so I delivered some weed for somebody, and they paid me with the 5 pounds. So I'm gonna call this guy out because fuck him, he set me up, and I would never exploit anybody else's name unless they're like friends and they say they want to be added on my channel or given a shout out. This man named Cody, he bought pounds for $3,200. So essentially I was driving to make $16,000 to Indiana. So I drove all the way out to Indiana with the 5 pounds. First I stopped at my grandma's house. She was extremely worried this time. She knew about me driving and delivering weed for a couple times before that, and she never asked to go with me, but this time she did. And she was just really nervous and intuitively knew already that I was going to be in trouble. And I just basically laughed at her, and I was like, Grandma, you cannot come with me on this drug deal, pretty much. So I left her house, and I feel so bad that my grandma was worried now, because she was right. So moral of the story is listen to your grandma. Anyways, I went to Cody's house, did the transaction, everything was normal. We had done like 3 or 4 transactions together before. We counted the money out together, the $16,000. I think he offered me dinner or something, and he just seemed very normal. So I left with the money, got in my car. I put it in this hamper that I had in my car, kind of hidden. And immediately after leaving his house, there was 2 cars that drove up right behind me, like super fast. So that was an instant red flag, and the whole vibe just completely shifted, and I knew something was wrong. So within a few minutes, they were still behind me, and I called my friend to ask him for some advice, and he asked if I had any weed on me. He said, throw out any weed you have on you. He asked if I had gas on me, and don't stop anywhere. Just keep driving until you can't any longer. So I did that. 5 minutes go by after calling him, and I'm hitting a roundabout, and I was like, okay, this is my chance to see if I'm really being followed, which I knew I already was. So I go around the roundabout, and these 2 cars followed me all around the roundabout. I did it 3 times, and on the second time, I made eye contact with one of the guys, and I was so fucking scared in that moment. Like, I just shifted from being scared to like super scared. I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are definitely out to get me. So I drove for 20 minutes with because I wasn't familiar with the area that I was in. When I get to the town, I go straight to this movie theater. It was so crazy. It felt like a movie, which is crazy. Like, it literally feels like a movie when I think about it. But at the movie theater, all these people came out of the movie. The movie must have just ended. There was like 100 people walking outside, like flooding out, and then all these cars, and you had to go really slow and dodge these people in cars. And I started losing the guys behind me, and I'm trying to get out of there as fast as I can, but also be aware of people and citizens around me. So I ended up losing them, and I had some relief at that moment. But as I kept going, I turned the corner on the street, and within 30 seconds, one of the cars ended up finding me and going straight behind me. So I was just terrified in that moment. I was like, oh, fuck no. And that's when it got really, really crazy. I had to drive like a maniac to try to get this guy away from me, and I am shocked that no cops or anybody really saw anything or said anything. It seemed like the streets were empty for the most part. So I am turning my way to the right, and this man is like following me, my every which move. I would turn my signal on and pretend like I'm turning right, and then I would just make a huge U-turn and go back where I was, or go straight, or whatever way, and he was keeping up with every move that I made. And a couple times he would like yell stuff and get next to me, and it was just crazy. So I didn't really know what to do. I just drove to the police station in the town where I was born in. It's called Munster. Once I got to the police station, the roads were icy too. This was in January. So there's 30 cop cars and not a cop in sight. I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought there would 100% be a cop, and that this man would get scared and back out. Or even before we saw a cop, I thought this man would be terrified of showing up to a police station while he's trying to rob me, and he has a gun on him, but he's crazy, and he kept following me into the police station. As we're driving in, I had to start driving slower because it's a smaller parking lot. We're going around the cop cars, and the way the layout of the parking lot was, it was like this, so the cop cars are lined up. I had to go around. It's slick outside, and I start spinning a little bit, and I just end up stopping my car, rolling down my window, and yelling at the guy, and cussing at him, and saying, why the fuck are you following me? Like, super pissed off. And when I say this man came out of his car so fast is an understatement. He just flew out of his car and put this gun up to my head, and I started screaming. I thought before this situation, if I had ever had a gun put to my head, that I would just give in and be so freaked out for my life. But you truly never know what you're gonna do and what your reactions are until you're in these crazy situations. And when he had the gun put to my head, I just started cussing him out, and I was like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm so sorry for the language, but I do have a crazy side to me. It doesn't always come out a lot, but in this situation it did, and I completely just flipped and just was like, no way in hell are you taking my money. It was literally all the money I had. I think I had $100 in my bank account, and this $16,000 was everything. So I ended up driving off, and I ran over his foot, I think just his toe, and he was just so pissed, obviously, and so was I, and I had so much adrenaline. And I called the police station, and I said, there's a man that just pulled a gun on me outside of your police station, and it's probably on the cameras. And they started asking for my license plate and my name, and I just hung up on them, and I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. So I drove off to the freeway. The first freeway was under construction, and it was closed off, and this was the scariest moment of my life, like the most adrenaline I have ever had. I'm like, I'm trying to get out of here. I ran over this foot. This guy is definitely gonna shoot me now. So I had to drive 10 minutes to the next on-ramp to get on the freeway. Those 10 minutes were terrifying. I was terrified for like 45 minutes after. I was looking out of my rear view mirror every second. I had to stop at the gas station because I barely had any gas. luckily it all worked out. Even at the gas station I was shaking. I was like, oh my gosh, this man is after me. Cody must have been so pissed off, that man must have been so pissed off that they didn't get the money from me. Everybody in the situation thought that they were gonna get the $16,000 plus weed. They didn't get away with it, and I did, and I ended up going to Hawaii. So again, it's nothing, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying this is the dark side of the industry that I was working in and what I would put myself up for. And it's a story that just happened, so I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm so happy that nothing as bad has happened to me since. I've had some close calls, but those are stories for another time. Unfortunately, I didn't learn my lesson from that. I kept going. I saw them as red flags, and I just kept going for a few years after that. I didn't really learn my lesson until I went to jail, so I just want to thank you guys. There's like this old couple that just walked by and they just heard what I said, just the jail part only. Woo, I look like such a great influence, huh? Okay, but anyways, wanted to thank you guys for listening and supporting me. If you got this far in this video, please subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, it's Days Gypsy. I will continue to post more videos like this, and also on my travels. I'm going to the Middle East in a few months here once my passport gets in and I go through the visa application, so can't wait to share with you guys where I'm going. It's going to be under wraps for the next few months though, so stay tuned, and I'm sending you so much love, and yeah, appreciate the positivity.